What's going on, Packer fans? Packer Plug back in here again, and we gonna recap. We gonna recap this Packers Buccaneers in Lambeau Field game today, and it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, man. Second straight loss. I was hoping this video would be a victory video, and we get to talk about all the things the Packers did right and a win over the Buccaneers that I think we all thought we'd have. A win over the Giants we thought we'd have too, but things obviously just don't go the way you think they're going to go, and it is what it is. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came into Lambeau Field. It was about 40 degrees. I was at the game. It was a fun game, but we got whooped, especially in that second half. Baker Mayfield coming in, throwing a perfect game in terms of his QBR. You know, that defense struggling to hold up. The first half was great. We're right in there as competitive. Baker got sacked, and the Bucs kick a field goal. They take a early lead 3-0, and the Packers they drive down. And they go for it on 4th and goal, didn't make it. Bucs get the ball. Bucs get the ball deep in their territory, I think within like 5 yards of their own end zone. And then Kingsley got a forced fumble on Baker Mayfield. We recover it. We recover it at like the 5-yard line. And then Love throws a TD pass to Kraft, our tight end. And he makes a touchdown. So Kraft had a good game. Jordan Love had an okay game. We make that. Scores 3-0. We go into the second quarter, and the Bucs hit a 25-yard touchdown pass to Mike Evans, and they go up 10-7. And that was the big problem, was stopping Baker Mayfield and the Bucs and these receivers. They're getting open all day. Our corners were not able to cover them. We had Savage is out, Jair is out. You got problems at the cornerback, man. What are you going to do? These receivers took full advantage. Baker took full advantage. Then Jordan comes back, and we drive down the field to get stopped. Carlson kicks a field goal. We tie the game up 10-10 late in the second, and the Bucs hit a field goal too. They go up 13-10 to end the half. Disappointing we couldn't stop them there. Come back in the second half, and this is where the struggles really start. Baker went right down, threw a touchdown pass to White. Baker threw 4 touchdowns in this game. I also think Baker Mayfield was sacked 4 or 5 times, if I'm not mistaken, which, if you're getting that kind of pressure on him, you don't expect him to have this game. He had 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and they just ate us up. Carlson hit a field goal. Baker hit. Jordan hit a touchdown to Reed, so we got it back in within range. 20-17, and then Baker goes right back down again and scores another touchdown to Keith. And it's just frustrating, man. It feels like this defense couldn't make a stop today. And if you're in that stadium as I was today, you hear the chants, you hear the calls, the fire Joe Barry, get Joe Barry up out of here. And today's one of those games that makes you really wonder and feel like, is that a possibility? Is that the direction we're heading in? That we have to. Of course, Matt LaFleur in previous weeks defended Joe Barry, said, I'm not giving up on Joe Barry. And then today he was asked about it, if he's thinking about if Joe Barry should be let go, and to which Matt LaFleur said he's focused. Right now is not the time for that. So he didn't quite defend him, but he said right now is not the time for that. We'll eventually reassess, what needs to be done for us to get these wins. What's going wrong? Third quarter, Baker threw a TD to Keith. They went up 27-17. Still a 10-point game going into the fourth quarter. Carlson hit a field goal. 7-point game. Right there in it with him. And then Baker hit a touchdown pass to David Moore. And David Moore broke some tackles on that play. I think it was a 52-yard field goal. I think he only threw the ball maybe 15 yards, and David Moore made the catch, slipped some tackles from some Packer defenders, and was able to get down to the end zone and score a touchdown. And you know, it's something you got to wonder: is it these players, or is it Joe Barry? Because you know, at the end of the day, it's these players that have to execute. Could be Joe Barry's play calling as well. You know, a lot of times you'll see a outside linebacker lining up against a slot receiver, so we're not in the perfect matchups to stop these receivers. And Godwin tore us up today. Mike Evans was making plays. You know, it was the pass game was not good for this Packers defense. They could not hold up. The Bucs went up 34-20, and then Jordan Love, last drive of the game, driving down. I think it was third down. Pressure in his face, kind of scrambles backing out, and they start tackling him. Drops the ball, fumble. Bucs recover, take it back down to the 11-yard line, I want to say, and take a knee and finish out the game. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing. You had the 7th seed before the Giants game, so you just need to win the remaining 5 games. You go to New York, a game you should easily win. Tommy DeVito runs around the field on you and makes a spectacle and wins that game, and a game you should definitely have won. A game you were right there in with, a game that I also say fell on the defense because Jordan Love scored a touchdown late in that game to give the Packers a chance. And Joe Barry's defense again in that game, the Giants game, could not make a stop there at the end. Tommy DeVito drives them right down. They kicked the game-winning field goal. This game, you got the same thing. It's not, you know, the Packers offense wasn't phenomenal, but they scored 20 points. They scored 2 touchdowns. Carlson hit his field goals, which has been a struggle in the past, but he hit his field goals. He made 20 points. There was opportunity. This defense, a Baker Mayfield, should not come up to Green Bay in Lambeau Field and make the plays he makes. It just shouldn't happen, and that falls on Joe Barry. It falls on these defensive players. You have your quarterbacks that are injured, but who knows? Maybe if Jair and Savage are there, that doesn't happen. It does happen. Who knows? But it's a problem. The run defense has been a problem too up to this point. You know, so it's a struggle. It makes you wonder. You know, what's going on with the Green Bay Packers and why we're having such defensive issues. I don't think it's Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love had a fine game, and you got to really dig deep for the Packers organization right now because you have 3 games left. You're not out of the playoffs completely. You still got a chance. You still got to go to Carolina, which should be an easy game. Carolina can't even sell tickets to their stadium. That should be an easy game. You then go to the Vikings. That's going to be your biggest challenge in these last 3 games. Can we get it done against a Viking team? A Viking team that early in the season kind of beat the brakes off of us. A Viking team that is going to be competitive because they're right there in that wild card. They lost yesterday, but they're right there to the Bengals. But they're right there in that wild card as well. So they're playing for a wild card as well. And you still have a chance for the Green Bay Packers. It's not fully in your hands now. It was before if you went out. It's not anymore. You got to win out. You don't win out, your chances of making the playoffs pretty much 0. So we'll see what this team does coming up against Carolina, coming up against the Minnesota Vikings, coming up against the Bears. I think that's 2 easy wins right there. The one you really have to worry about is the Vikings. Then again, I thought the Giants win would be easy as well. I thought the Bucs win would be not as easy, but another one that you should easily get. So you never know. We could go and we could lose all 3 of these games, or we could win all 3 of these games, or we can go 2-1, in which case we might not make the playoffs. It's really time for this team to step up. Jordan Love didn't play a horrible game. He threw 2 TD passes, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, perfect QBR, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's disappointing. Packers offense total yards was 321. Tampa Bay's was 442. Time of possession, we had 30. They had 29, and somehow their offense was just rolling. It's because they're scoring quick. Our team, we're driving, stop. 4 sacks. How we don't come up with this win, I don't know. But the defense has to keep us in those situations. Hopefully this Green Bay Packer team can win these last 3 games and get us in the playoffs. Joe Barry, please get it together. Anyways, that's all for me. Let's hope this Packer team does better. Let's hope we get that win in Carolina next week. And as always, go Pack.